In this video, I'm going to discuss how to use the new J-Sheet. As you can see, first of all, there are three tabs: Info, Session Plan, and Enter Session Data. The first tab, Info, tells you all the basics of your package at first glance or whenever you want an update. You can see the simple things like caregiver name, code, service, number of children, and then this little box, which are details that we will gather from the JSOR that is compiled for each renewal. Number of weeks will be 4. Is it your first renewal, second renewal, third renewal? The duration of each session, it will always be a 1-hour minimum, but if your client maybe stipulates something else, we will list it here, as well as the number of times you meet in a week. And do you have any days in particular which sessions must occur on? If you don't, as some of your packages may vary, we would just leave them as X's. Now, the most important part of this info tab, I would say, is row 11. You can see right now that the payment status is collected because paid hours is 8, which is the same amount as the total hours. This means your client has fully paid. This means your salary is secure. Now let's say that your client did not pay yet. Payment status would be pending. This would read as 0 or perhaps just blank completely. And you know that you should not begin because none of your salary has been secured at all. Say, for example, your client has 3 hours of credit from some other package. Payment status is still pending, but you now know that you could complete, in theory, 3 hours, and your salary will be secured for that. Then you would just want to wait until the full payment has been collected and you're good to go. Salary will change from not ready to ready once hours left reaches 0. And the only thing to be conscious of is the fact that right now the start date reads as 33, and you can see that this fast forwards into the future 35 days. And the status is active because there's a start date. Now, I might send this to you when we don't know when you will start. Your package hasn't begun yet. There is no start date. This will read as expired, and this will say 1900. Don't be fazed by that. Moving on to session plan. We will have a second video dedicated to session planning to go into it in depth. However, if you already know how to session plan, please feel free to use this and coordinate with the parents. It's a useful tool. You just want to set a couple goals for each package and then plan out what you're going to do for each session depending how many days a week you go over the course of 4 weeks or 5 weeks. Also, you want to list the strengths and weaknesses of the child, and then do you have any tools in particular you're going to use, such as specific books or something. Now, the Enter Session Data page looks very similar to the old version of the J-Sheet. You have the day of the week columns, which is where you put the date. I don't know if this date actually correlates to Sunday. You put the length of time here and a brief session summary, such as revised, homework. You could put anything like maybe planned and outline, compiled secondary sources, something like that. If it was a language service package, you might want to say maybe, used vocabulary flashcards, something along those lines, so we can track what you're doing. Also be aware if you're typing something that's very long, you want to make sure you know what text wrapping is, because if it's long, it will just get lost. So all you have to go is up here to text wrapping. Also note, I entered an hour and a half in here. Everything entered in these columns will be filtered back into this page. So you can see right now it's updated in real time. So you could always use this to know where you're at. Now, if you cancel a session, you want to enter in the date. There will be no session summary. And you must enter 0. Go up to insert comment and say who the class was canceled by client, rescheduled for the date. If you know that you're going to be absent for an amount of time that leads you to miss more than one class, or if the client will be away for many classes as well, you might You can calculate into the future, okay, which Monday, which Tuesday of which week will they be gone, and say on this date, I know I'm going to be gone, and then say in advance, the reason, type it out here. Or you could simply list them in the empty space here. Client will be gone 22nd of April to the 5th of May, something like that. Caregiver will be absent for the week of, whatever it is, for exams. So know your schedule, know the client's schedule. If the client tells you something, update it here for them. And obviously you need to keep everything tight, because let me put that back. Say this was a class and it wasn't canceled, it was 3 hours. If I were to go into this sheet right now, I would say, why is it empty for weeks 2 and 3? There's nothing going on. This is something you want to avoid. You need to keep your J sheet updated, because if I were to see something like this in this gap in time that is not explained, either in some sort of inserted comment here or something listed down below here, I'm going to call you and say, why isn't your J sheet updated? Also be sure to update client cancellations, because anything that needs to be resolved, if it is not reflected in the J sheet, it does not exist to this office. This is how you prove everything, and it must be reflected in here. It goes without saying, you need to update within 24 hours. The way we keep you honest is we can see the revision history and track who's making an edit exactly at what time. So be aware of that, because after each package, we go through and we check, did you enter in at least one session a week? Because even if there are no sessions going on, you need to at least enter in a cancellation. Did you update the sheet within 24 hours? And in addition to all of the other ratings, for example, what did your client give you a score of, 1 out of 10? You have to maintain a certain percentage point. All of this will be explained in another video for points, but this is how you update a J sheet.